Hello everybody. I've spoken a lot today. Never mind. Here we are back again. And in this live we will be mainly learning about Docker. And I will not take the class first of all. Right now I will mainly focus on revising the things that I have learned so far. So ultimately we will have a quick revision of the things because I promised that I would do it. So yeah, let's do it. And after that I may be taking the class in the evening. So as for the notes, let's simply go through the notes. We will just getting everything done. And I've even got stuck with a bug that got resolved at the end, but I had to spend a lot of time. So we will be even talking about that. So this is how it's gonna be going on. Ultimately, what you can expect from this live, you can expect from it a proper revision of Docker. Okay, including Docker Composer. So we will be starting from the beginning. We'll cover volumes, we'll cover networks, we'll cover volumes, network. Yeah, these are the things. We can build it, we can push it to the Docker hub, we can even create compose file, we'll make it work, and with the help of just one command we will be starting our project. So this is how we'll simply be going ahead here. Let me check if I'm audible. We'll cover volume. Okay, I'm audible. So let's continue. Let's go from here on. If there's anything, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just simply be going on like this. And let's start talking about the Docker thing. First of all, let's go through the notes and all. And once we have gone through the notes, then we will be going through other things. Software and where is that? Come on, yaar. WebDev, Web3. WebDev is here. Web3 is here. Let's go to WebDev. Why am I even thinking? There's nothing to think about. So here these are the commands to simply clear the Docker. Suppose if you face some errors, so you can just run Docker compose down, and then it stands for volume and remove orphans, and the second one is the Docker system prune and AF. Prune means it will remove all the unused files, as simple as that. By the way, these are the Docker commands. I will not be talking about them much. Rather, we will be talking about the commands while working on the project, something like that. And these are some of the things that we have to keep in mind. And apart from this particular thing, Node Alpine, I have to start it again. And then Docker Compose, I started working on this particular thing from here on. Then this is the thing that's being done. The environment variables we had, and apart from this particular thing, depends on Postgres port, and it has environment variable, Docker file, etc. And then here we got the things done. So ultimately, what we are gonna be doing here, let me even get that thing discussed here. So let's go to week 27. We have our Docker project over there. So first of all, we will be creating a simple project that's gonna be like this, in which I just have or let's use this project only. Let's do one thing. I'll remove Docker file from here, okay, because otherwise it will take a lot of time. Remove Docker compose YAML from here, and remove contribute.md, even remove this thing from here. This is just gonna be for learning purpose. Even not, let's not do this. That's crazy. Let's do one thing. Docker compose. I have package.lock here. That was created by mistake. So I have this thing here. Control CV. I can have one more. Yeah, copy. So I have a copy of this thing, and I will be getting the things done here only. So in here, first of all, I have contribute MD. I don't need this. Compose YAML. I don't need this. Docker file. I don't need this, but it's not copied properly as I expected. Okay, let's do one thing. Delete this thing from here. And let's open Explorer and get the things copied from there on. So Explorer, it should open. So yeah, it has opened, and I have to go to this particular week. Okay, projects. Where is that? Come on, yeah. Code, and then week 27 is here. Docker compose. Let's copy and have one more. Copy it and paste it here only. So I will have a copy of this code, and then this is how we will be going ahead. I will be explaining each and everything from starting it locally, running it locally, and then switching is to Docker file, creating Docker file, building the image, and once the image is built, we will be starting the whole project with the help of Docker Compose. In this, within 1 hour, we will be getting all these things done, and once this thing is done, then we will actually be moving to learning something about Docker. This is how the plan is right now. It will take some time, around how much? It's gonna take 1 minute around. Oh, that's crazy, yaar. Why is this taking so much time? Okay, I'll actually have to wait for a while because files are being copied, and for that thing I can't really do anything. I have only one option, and that is just to wait and get the things done. Take 1 minute around. Okay, I hope it's gonna be quick, and then we can just simply go ahead. I didn't want to write code for that, so let's do one thing. When we are working, so why not work from the beginning? Continue. Let's start everything from the beginning. We'll have a Prisma. Okay. Continue. Let's delete this thing. I hope it will be deleted and won't take lots of time. It's open, so let's close this. Yes. Try again. Let's open Docker Compose inside. That's great. Let's open. Okay, it's gonna be a quick thing. We won't do lots of stuff. We'll just simply create a simple Docker testing file, and then we'll get the stuff done. So first of all, week 27, let's create a mkdir Docker testing. This is the name of the directory going to be. Ultimately, we'll be doing the testing stuff inside it. Let's open Docker testing, and that's it. Code. Let's open this, and whatever I'm gonna do, that's gonna be in front of you. Ultimately, we'll be getting the stuff done from the beginning. If you know Docker, gonna be really hello. Oh, you are back. Good to see you here. So let's start it right now. First of all, we are going to have a normal project, and that normal project is going to be using PNPM this time. Good to see you, bro. Back. And this is how it's gonna be going on. So first of all, let's make sure I have PNPM installed. Yeah, I do have that. Talking about the version of the PNPM, it's going to be this. So what next? PNPM init and y. It will just simply give me the okay. Does not work as expected. Unknown y. Okay, so I have to just write a PNPM init, and it should work. PNPM init. It is just like npx init. Come on, yaar, how bad am I at typing? npm init. Okay, the file has been created. Let's open package.json. So ultimately, everything I'm doing just in front of you. Once this file is created, first of all, the name is Docker testing. That's okay. I will have a module type called module like this. Once this thing is clear, then the next thing is that let's create some of the files over here. So I will have a source folder. Inside that I will have index.ts. This is the first thing that I need to do, and I even need to download some of the folders apart from packages, I mean. And over here I need build script. So to build the things, I'm unable to type properly. Maybe it could be because of code or something. Okay, it would be like tsc and b for building this stuff. Then second thing, I will be starting the project. Once I'm starting the project, it will be like node dist/index.js. All the things will get start making sense as we move forward, and then I will have a dev file, dev script, and it will be used for development. And for now, I will be using only npm run build. Even I'm using pnpm over here, so let's use pnpm build and pnpm dev. This is how we are gonna be going ahead, or not that dev. So these are the scripts that we have created. Once the scripts are created, and this one is going to be dist/index.js. Okay, this thing is done. What is the next step? Let's install TypeScript as dev dependency. So pnpm add TypeScript as dev dependency. So let's add that, and we need Express. Yeah, we do need that. So pnpm add Express, and what else do we need? We need Express, we need Prisma, as dev dependency. Okay, and pnpm add the types of express as dev dependency. So let's go with this. Once this thing is clear, I will be initializing the TypeScript right here. So let's initialize the TypeScript. For initializing the TypeScript, I need pnpm tsc. I think it goes like this, tsc and init. It will work, I hope. Yeah, it is. Joson is this language. Which language are you talking about? Is that Joson? I'm not sure. I haven't heard of it. What does this mean? So this thing is here. After that, we have got a tsconfig file. Let's even uncomment this. Once we have these many things, even we have got express, so let's import it. It will gonna be pretty simple. So let's import express from, this is just an example file, and const app is gonna be express. Once this thing is done, I will even define the ports here. That's gonna be 3000 by default, and I will have some routes. Listen, it will be listening, and the data will be saved ultimately. So slash okay, listen on port, and ultimately it will be logging something to CLG, and I can say server is running on port, on this specified port, something like this. After that, I will have two methods. First one is gonna be app.get slash. Over here I will be just returning the data, request response, and things are gonna be like this. Respond for now, response.send get the data, and the second one is gonna be just like this, but that will be for post. This is just a sample project because the main focus is going to be on learning Docker. Post the data, and this is how it's gonna be going ahead. As for the types of these, and it's going to be like this. Let's get it from Express itself. We'll be getting a request from Express. This thing is done, and I will be getting the type of response from Express as well. So response from Express. This thing is also done. As for the type of this app, I will be getting it from Express again. Application from Express. So I ultimately I have defined the types and all. So this is quite a good thing that we have done here. Now what next? The next thing is going to be to build it. Can you tell me where JSON files are used and what they are used for? JSON files are mainly used for sending the data. So you can parse the JSON files. Ultimately, you can convert the JSON files into strings, and then you can send here and there. It's like that. So mainly this is a format that is used to send the data on the internet, and you cannot directly send the JSON files, so they are stringified first. First of all, you convert them into strings, and then you send the data. Whenever you get the stringified JSON data, then you can parse the data and then get the data and use that. This thing is done. What is the next step? Let's do one thing. pnpm build. I hope I will be able to build this. Just hope so. Let's see. Okay, this is built. Can I start? Pnpm dev. This is started. Well, this hasn't. I have made a mistake for sure. So let's go to package.json. Over here, pnpm. It should be pnpm start. That was my bad. Let's start it again. Pnpm dev. So the project has started on port 3000. Let's go to port 3000, localhost 3000, and get it. So get the data. Ultimately, we are getting the result. What is the next step? The next step is to use database too. So let's get Prisma for it. So ultimately, we need to install some of the commands over here, some of the packages over here. Let's go to Prisma website and see what all we need to import, ultimately install. Because Prisma has changed some of the things right now recently, so we have to keep that thing in mind too. Not this. Let's go to docs. Postgres. I will be using Postgres over here, and ultimately these are the packages I have to install. What are they? First of all is Prisma that I have to install. Types of nodes, types of PG, and I have to install them as dependency. Then Prisma client, Prisma adapter, PG, and PG I have to install. So let's install first of all the main softwares. So pnpm add, they are the packages actually. So first of all I have to install Prisma /client. After that I have to install .env. I have .env, and then what next? Prisma client .env, Prisma adapter pg and pg. I think these are the ones. I have to install Prisma client. I have to install Prisma /adapter pg and pg. Okay, so the name was wrong over here. Prisma /adapter and pg, and then pg. These are the packages that you have to install, and once these packages are installed you will have to install the dependencies as well. So let's install these packages first of all, and then we'll be going ahead. So I have Prisma client, I have @Prisma adapter pg and pg, and I have .env. Let's do it, and they all are going to be installed right now. And after that I will have to install their dependencies. Not even dependencies, they are going to be types of them. So npm add, I have to install types as dev dependencies. So add @types /types node, if I'm not wrong. I have to have the types of pg, so @types of pg, and anything else I will be getting it from here. So I have to install @types node, okay, then pg, and that is it. So I have to get this should be node, not ts node. So I have to get the types of node, I have to get the types of pg. Can you tell me what Prisma is used for, and what we can do with this tool? Well, Prisma is ORM. It is mainly used for using SQL behind the scene. So ultimately we are using SQL, post SQL, but it is an ORM, and you can use a MongoDB, PostgreSQL, SQL, any database using this ORM. Add TypeScript, types Node.js, types PG, and Prisma. If you talk about ORM, so the way we have the way we have Mongoose for MongoDB. Mongoose is a ORM that is used for MongoDB. Similarly, we have Prisma. This is used for Postgres, SQL, MongoDB, and so many other ones. So this thing is also done. What is the next step? Okay, I have copied the things from here. After that, let's copy this particular thing, and by the way, it's automatic, it will automatically be generated, so I don't need to worry about that. Let's do one thing, initialize Prisma. So npm Prisma, and I have to, what the hell, oh, what can I do? Prisma init, I have to run it first of all. Prisma init, it will initialize the Prisma project, and once it is initialized, then we'll simply go ahead. As soon as the Prisma project is initialized, so I have got these types of packages over here. One of them is package prisma config.ts, and in here it's simply saying that you will have to install .env that we have already installed, so we don't need to worry about that, and remaining things we don't have to change here. Then we got this schema.prisma. Over here we can define our schema, so let's even define that. For defining the schema, let's write model, and this is gonna be user schema for now, and it is just an example schema. So I'm going to have id is gonna be integer, and that's gonna be id by default. At the default I will have it will be auto incremented, so auto it should be like that, auto increment. Come on, yeah. Oh, it is okay. What is that? How many hours do you code in a day? I don't know, maybe it could be around 8 to 10 hours, or sometimes it goes more than that, or sometimes it's less. And even right now I'm coding. Earlier I didn't used to code this much. It's just right now, because of course I have time and I have the opportunity, so I do that. Come on, int this is not going to be like this. What is the problem with this? I'm not getting the suggestions. Okay, I am getting actually id @default auto increment. Okay, I wasn't getting this one. Never mind, let's go ahead. Next one is gonna be, first one is the id, second one is gonna be the username. Ultimately, yeah, username I will have, and the username is gonna be type of string. Then I think it can be int like this. Yeah, then I should be getting the response here as well. Auto increment, yeah, I'm getting that. Username is here, and I will just simply have the password. Password is gonna be string, and @map. I will be naming it users. Okay, something like this. Oh, cold. I'm sitting on my bed. Come on. If I feel cold, I keep the mic quilt around. As simple as that. So I'm not afraid of cold. I have my bed supporting me. So this thing is done. Once this much is done, then I can just simply I need an env file over here, and that env file I'll get it using Docker. So let's use Docker to create an env file. We are just testing it, so we will be creating that for that. Docker images. How many images do I have? I have Docker compose and Postgres. Ultimately I have Docker containers, ultimately Docker process status. Nothing is, oh, something is running. Draw app db, this is running. That's okay. Let's stop this for now. So Docker kill, and I'm going to kill this here. Once this is killed, Docker psa. This is already in the background, so I don't need to worry about it. I will be restarting that later. And I think I can use the same. I just have to create a different database. Sorry, I should not have killed that. I have killed that now. Let's start that again. I hope it's gonna work. Let's start that. That is started. Docker ps. Let's use PSQL. Username is gonna be Postgres. Post is gonna be localhost. Port is gonna be 5432. Database name is gonna be draw app, and I just wanna simply check whether I'm able to log in or not. 3241 is gonna be the password, and I'm inside it. That means it's working. What next? In env file. Let's write the database URL over here. So Postgres SQL and / localhost. Postgres. I will have this as username. The password is gonna be 3241. It's gonna be localhost. The host is going to be, and port is gonna be 5432, and DB name is going to be Docker testing. Docker testing is the DB name because we are testing, right? As simple as that. So let's run pnpm. One more thing before getting this thing done. I think it will fail because one more thing. I have an issue here. What is the problem with you? Saying that Prisma is not under root dir. Okay, Prisma is not under root dir. So for that thing, let's go to the end. I'm going to include everything that is inside source. It should remove that here, yeah. And then the another thing is that I will be excluding some of the files, and those files are, first one is the node modules, second one is the dist file that I will be creating, and one of them is I think these two ones are enough for now. Let's close this particular thing right now. And what am I going to do? I'm going to simply migrate Prisma. So pnpm Prisma migrate dev. Migration means it simply creates the database in my DB, as simple as that. So if I run it, I will get an error if I'm not wrong. I should be getting an error. Well, I'm not getting, so I don't need to initialize it. That's good. By the way, enter name, init schema. I thought as I was not importing .env on the top, so I should be getting an error, but it only happens when we export the Prisma client, otherwise it doesn't happen. This thing is done. Let's create the client for Prisma, and this is the path for the client. That means that will be generated inside source folder directory. So pnpm Prisma generate. It will work like this. So here we are going to generate that. The client has been generated. What is the next step? Once the client has been generated, the next thing is that I am going to be using that client. And even before using the client, the best way would be to export the client in the best way possible. For exporting the client in the best way, we will be following the documentation of Prisma. If I go to the documentation of Prisma, I get this way over here. It's simply saying that first of all create the ultimately what it's saying that first of all create the adapter. Once the adapter is created, then create the Prisma client and then export that. Okay, this is the thing that it's asking us to do. So let's even do that. First of all, index.ts we have here. Let's have one more file, db.ts here, db.ts, client.ts, you can name it client.ts and all. And okay, and first of all let's import pg adapter. I think I should be getting it. What was the name, by the way? What all do I need to? I need to have Prisma PG and I need to have Prisma client for that thing. So let's get a Prisma PG, get it from Prisma adapter PG, and then the next thing I need to have, that is a Prisma client, and I will be getting it from @client extension. Is this right? Prisma client. Okay, I don't want it from here. I think I need to get it from here, Prisma generated file, the file that we generated. So I am going to get it from where? Just a sec, let me delete all of this. Import Prisma client. I need the Prisma client, but I need the Prisma client from the generated file that I have generated. So these two things are done, and then the next thing is that I need a connection URL. So connection URL is going to be what? I will be getting it from env file. So process.env.database URL. This is the connection URL that I have got. What is the next step? I have to generate Prisma adapter first of all. For that, const adapter is equal to new. I will have, this is a class that I have got, Prisma PG, that will give me the adapter. So Prisma PG, once I have this, it needs a connection string, pool or config. It simply needs the configuration, something to connect with. So I can have a connection URL here. So I have the connection URL. It will simply get the job done using this. And once, what is the problem? What is the name of it, by the way? This is connection string, not connection URL. The name is connection string. So let's name it better. Control D to select all. Connection string. So okay, this is where we have connection string. So ultimately I got the adapter. Once I got the adapter, I will be getting the Prisma client. So Prisma is equal to new Prisma client, and this Prisma client will take adapter as argument. Done. Once I got this Prisma client, I can export it from here, and this will be export default and Prisma. Okay, I'm just simply exporting from here. Once I'm exporting from here, I can import it here and I can start using this. What do I want to do using this Prisma thing? First of all, I want to get the data, but I can get the data only when the data is saved. So let's save the data first of all. So const Prisma. So let's import Prisma over here. Import Prisma from where? From db.js. Once I have this thing here, I will be saving the data in the database. This is just going to be some random data. So let's keep everything inside try catch block so that if we get some errors, so we are able to figure that thing out. Failed to save the data in db, and you can do one more thing. You can just write the errors here. You can play with the types and all, because we are using TypeScript, but we can do that thing later. And another thing is that we have to save the data in the db. Const response is equal to await. First of all, if you want to await, you will have to make it async. The function should be async function. Once this thing is done, we will be getting Prisma from here. Prisma dot what? Prisma dot user that we have created. Dot create, we have to create the user, and after that we have to just provide some data inside it, and that data is gonna be the username, and data is gonna be the password that we have to provide. Again, these things are gonna be the random things, so let's create them randomly. So first one is gonna be the random random number ultimately. Method.random to string. I will be converting it to string because the username should be in the form of any string, and same with the password. I will be creating a random number. Once I have got the random number, I will be creating it to converting it to a string. So this thing is done. Nothing. This is just a random number, so username doesn't really make any sense. So this thing is done. We have created the user. Once the user is created, we should be sending a response. Response.send. I see you have a lot of time to learn. That is right. I have all the day. No, it's not like I don't have work to do. I am in my village. I live in my village, so I have to do the household chores whenever uh, I am required to do. So even in the morning, I did it for 1 hour. So whenever there is work, I go and do the work. Otherwise, I'm here doing the work stuff. JSON, it's fun to do this stuff too. Message, and this is gonna be data fetched successfully, this thing, and then okay, what I will be sending a response. Response, why am I going to send response? I'm going to send what am I going to send? I got the response. So response is the data. So ultimately this is going to be the user. So let's name it user, and I will be sending the user. Okay, so this is the thing, and that is it. Even here I will be sending the thing response.status. That's gonna be 500 by default because I don't know that JSON, and the message is going to be error saving the data to DB, and error is going to be error, as simple as that. Ultimately I will be getting it. So I have saved the data to the database. After that I have to get the data. It's gonna be pretty quick. Try catch block, I mean here. Let's do the same stuff. Things are pretty much repeatable, so we don't need to worry about them much. Let's just get the stuff done soon. Message is going to be what? Failed to get, ultimately fetch the data from DB, and then we will have the error over here. Once this thing is done, let's get the things done inside try catch block. We'll have a sync function in here, const, and what user is equal to, I will be getting all the users, right? So they are gonna be users await prisma dot user dot find many. Just get all the users. Once I have got the users, return response dot status dot 200 dot json dot message users fetched successfully. Thanks to my typing, at least I'm able to type faster. Okay, and then users are gonna be users. This thing is done. I am returning here from here as well. It's better to use return. By the way, it's not required unless you have if statements, but it's better. I mean, I like this thing. We have to return a response anyhow when we are using conditional statements, but here it's optional because that is the last response that you are sending. So this thing is also done. Let's see whether it's working or not. PM. Let's build first of all. Build everything. We got an error. Okay, this is the most famous error. If you have ever worked with this, you must have found this. It's simply telling that there is a helper package that is not installed, and Prisma website doesn't even tell us about this. So I went through Prisma documentation, and then I got to know about this particular package, and that package is pnpm add. I have to add a Prisma / client hyphen runtime utils. And the worst thing is that Prisma is not telling about this particular package. If I just try to see this, add the rate Prisma / client runtime utils. Okay, you are not getting this particular package on Prisma website. You will get it on Prisma 7 documentation when it was actually introduced, but you are not getting it here. But this is really required. So add Prisma client run utils. It should be downloaded, and once it is downloaded, I should not be getting the error. So let's do one thing again. pnpm add not pnpm dev. Let's run it. Even before that, I will be building it. So pnpm build. This package, if you are actually using Prisma, keep in mind that you will have to install this particular package as a helper, utilities helper. If you are not installing that, you will face many errors. I spent 2 days figuring this thing out, so you do not waste your time doing the stuff. So pnpm build, this thing is done. Then pnpm dev. Okay, that's running right now. I should be able to save some data. So let's do one thing. Open postman and save some data in the DB. Even before that, let's check whether I have the database or not. pg admin. Okay, pretty much good stuff. We don't have lots of time, and the mainly class is going to be this is not a class, I'm sorry. I'm in the habit of saying it class. Mainly it's going to be about using Docker, how you can actually use Docker, and then how you can use Docker Compose at the end. Docker helps us start everything quicker, and then Docker Compose helps us start everything the quickest way possible. This is the thing. Okay, by the way, over here, if I just go here, draw app is here, Docker testing is here. Ultimately, we got our database. Inside our database, we have tables. Inside tables, we have users, and inside users, if I just view the data, we have nothing right now. Let's save some data and then see the things happening. So it's running on 3000 port. Wait 25 new request. 3000 and right now I will be saving. I won't be actually giving any data. Let's keep it none. Let's simply send a post request continuously. Send error saving the data to DB. The error is this. Okay, it simply means that it is unable to use .env file that I have provided. Why? Because I have even here is saying that failed to save DB in the data. Client password must be string. Okay, client password must be string. But what I think is this, that it is even unable to get the env file. So I think if I import env file here, this error should be resolved. So import .env/config. Let's see whether error goes away or not. Otherwise I will have to dig deeper for sure. I'm not sure, but let's give it a try. This. Okay, data failed successfully. So ultimately, .env file was the problem. .env file wasn't accessible to the client, and that is why I said initially it did not throw the error. But here I'm using client over here because I got the client from db.js. And when you export the client and import it, at that time you need to have import.env config. If you do not have it, you will get an error for sure. So this thing is done. Let's save many data. This thing is done. Then I can get the data back. And okay, both the things are working, and these are the data that I'm getting. I have only 2 data. Wow. Let's have one more. Now I should have 3 data. And guess what? Yeah, we have. So ultimately this is working. This is the normal way to make any application work. What will happen when you use Docker? When we use Docker, we will be able to start our application in a container. Okay, let's do that. Right now, when it comes to database, if I just open another terminal over here, our database is not running on my local machine. My database is running on Docker container, Docker PS. This is the process that's running. Just a sec. Sorry. This is the process that I have. This is the process ID, Postgres and all. And the name of my Docker container is Docker DB app. Okay, this is the container that's running. So ultimately, I can run my DB inside the container, and the same thing I want to do with my app. I want to run my app inside the container. So let's stop it. And for running everything inside Docker container, we'll have to build an image. And for building an image, we will have to specify the Docker file configuration. So let's create a Docker file right here. Docker file is going to be here, and once we have a Docker file, what we are going to do, we need a base image for that. Even we need to have one more file, and that's gonna be .docker ignore. Okay, this is for ignoring some of the files. Let's talk about Docker file. How will you configure Docker file? First of all, if you want to build an image, you need to have a base image, and I'm going to have node as my base image. So from node, the version of the node, let's have 2022, and that is the Alpine version. Why Alpine version? You can directly have node. Alpine version is the lighter version, and that is why I'm using node Alpine version. You can use directly node, it's up to you. By the way, I'm using the lighter version so that it doesn't take lots of time. Then what I'm going to be declaring work dir, and that's gonna be app. That's again, this could be anything. And after that, I will be copying the files. So I want to copy the files from my main source to the destination file. Destination is .app/app. So files are gonna be package.json. I will be copying. So ultimately I will be copying everything that starts with package, and in the source file ultimately I can even make it like this. Copy everything, like copy package.json from the source file to the destination file. This could be / as well, it's up to us. And I wanna copy everything that starts with the Prisma, okay, and I wanna copy it inside Prisma. Cancel it. Once this thing is done, then I wanna run what do I wanna run? I wanna run pnpm install. But the thing is that pnpm install will not work. Why? Because pnpm needs to be installed, then only it will be able to install. So let's install pnpm globally. So it will be like npm install globally, and it will install pnpm globally. Then pnpm will be able to install the stuff. Once this thing is done, and after that we will be copying everything from the source to the destination. Once this thing is done, then what? After that we have to think what to do. After this we need to run some of the commands. First one is going to be pnpm. I have to generate the file, migrate the file. So pnpm migrate dev, and we have to do all these things, migrate dev. Once this thing is done, then run pnpm generate. I have to generate the file. Oh, that's wrong. Pnpm prisma migrate dev, and then pnpm prisma generate. This thing is done. I am simply migrating first, then I am generating that. Once I have generated that, then I am building it. So pnpm build. Once it has built, then I have to run that, and the port is going to be 3000 for this particular file. Lastly, I have to run a command, and that command is going to be what? pnpm, and it has to start the dev script. Ultimately this much we have done. So this is the configuration of Docker, and once this thing is done, I wanna ignore some of the things. I wanna ignore node modules, I wanna ignore dist folder, I wanna ignore Docker file itself, something like this. These are the things that I wanna ignore. So everything is done. Let's see whether we are actually able to do it or not. It's time to create an image. Either you can just pull an image from the Docker Hub, or you can create an image, and once the image is created, you can actually push the image to the Docker Hub. Just try that thing out. First of all, do I have any image on my Docker Hub? Let's try that thing. hub.docker.com. Here I am. Let's sign in. Continue as VPN sync. Yeah, sign in. I'm inside this. This is the image that I have. Let's try to actually pull this image, and it's inactive. That's crazy. I'm going to be it's for pushing. How can I pull this image? What is the name of it? Test app, right? Let's see whether I can pull this image or not. Docker pull. What do I have to pull? I have to pull test app, not text app. That is test app. Using default tag latest error response full access denied for test request, does not exit or require Docker. Oh, just a sec. Does not exit or may require Docker login. I'm already logged in if I'm not wrong. Docker login. Unstopable the code. Okay, that's done. Let's run the same command again. What will happen? I'm still getting the error. I may have to specify the whole name, like this whole name. Control C, and let's try to pull the image. I just want to check whether I can pull the image like this or not. Yeah, you will have to specify the whole name in order to pull the image from Docker. That is something that you need to keep in mind. And even you can build the image and then push the image there. So first of all, let's build an image for pushing to the Docker. Okay, even the name doesn't matter, we can keep the name anything. So I have pulled the image. If I just check the images right now, oh sorry, Docker images. So this is the image that I have just pulled from Docker Hub. That is the test app latest. Latest is just simply a tag. I'm going to remove it. So Docker remove, and I wanna remove this particular image from here. So let's remove this image, Docker images. Right now the image has been removed. What is the next step? I wanna build my own image, and once that image is built, I wanna push it to the Docker Hub. This is the main goal for now. How can I build an image? So Docker build, I have to build an image. Tag is going to be unstoppable. The thing is that if you wanna push the image to Docker Hub, it should have the username as well. The file, the username should be there in the name of the file. So unstoppable, the code, this is my username, and the app name is gonna be Docker test. Okay, this is going to be the name of the app. Docker test app is going to be the name, and it will take everything from the current directory. Let's see whether it works. The high chances that it's going to be failed. Why? I will talk about the reason. It's going to fail because whenever it starts building, it will run this command, pnpm prisma migrate dev. Okay, and at current time, do I have anything running on that? I think I have running. Yeah, let's see whether I get an error or not. So I have a database running right now, and because of that thing it will not throw the error. That's interesting. I think I have a database running right now. Okay, everything's got done. Docker ps, if I check, I have a process running called Postgres draw app db. Come on yaar, what happened with this? What is wrong with you? Okay, it's trying to migrate the things. That's okay, let it migrate. The thing is that I already have a Docker container, and that's running my database right now, and it's trying to migrate to that database, something like that. But the thing is that, have a look, when I build something, that build itself kind of runs inside a container, and when that actually runs inside a container, and the env file is like this, the env file is localhost. So this is the env file that it's getting. Even I can mention this env file here. This is important. I have missed this thing, sorry, my bad. Let's go to Docker file. Where before running the build commands, I have to even give it the env file. So env file is going to be this, database URL Postgres this much. This is the env file. Okay, I need to provide the database URL because Prisma migrate and Prisma generate, they use the database URL, then only it can migrate, right? If it doesn't have any database URL, how will it migrate? Let's try to build it again, but still I will face the error. I know that. Let's see whether it gets migrated the right way or not. Ultimately it will get stuck here if I'm not wrong, and the main reason is this, that when it runs Prisma migrate dev, it needs the URL. This is the URL. This URL is running at localhost, and when we build, that build itself runs inside a container, and localhost of that container, there is nothing running inside that container. That means at localhost 5432 there is nothing running, and because of that thing it is not able to find the database to migrate the stuff, and that is why it is just simply stuck here. So what we will do, we'll simply do one thing, that while running this command, I will say that network is going to be host. Why? This time this local host refers to the local host of the container. I am specifically telling it that the host is going to be the network is going to be host, like my own machine. At that time this local host will start getting the data from my own machine. Right now it's trying to get the data, trying to search the data in the container that is not available. So when I say network host, it starts looking for the database in my own local machine, and that time it should work. This is what I expect right now. Let's see. Okay, it's installing the things. Once the things are installed, then it will be going ahead and migrating the things. I hope it's going to work. Okay, as the database is running. Let's see. Okay, the most important step, run Prisma migrate dev. Is this going to succeed or fail? Well, it actually got succeeded. Right now we are just simply generating the things. So ultimately what happened is that when I wrote a network host, so this local host started referencing to my own local machine, and when it started referencing to my own local machine, I had a database running on 543 port, 32 port, and that is why it migration got successful, and then I didn't get the error. As simple as that. So let it get the things done. Once the things are done, right now we can just simply go ahead and let's check the image that has been generated. So images, this is the image that we have generated right now. Unstop all the code. Let's forget about this thing. Docker test app, this is my image that I have generated right now. Now I can run this image, and once I run this image, then that's it. The image will start running, the app will already be open. But there is one problem. I am going to be using I already have a database running. Okay, just a sec. Let's check the database that's running right now. Docker ps, a docker inspector. I want to inspect the database which in network it's using. I need the network because when two containers are running, two processes are running in two containers, and they need to talk to each other. They can only talk when they are connecting via network. If they are not connected via network, it will be not possible for them. It will not be possible for them to just talk to each other. And why do they need to talk to each other? First container is running the database. Second container is running the Node.js project. If Node.js project has to get any data from the database, it needs to talk to the database. And how will the Node.js container will talk to the database when there is no network? So I have to connect both of them to the same network so that both of them can get connected to the same network and they can talk. They can only talk when there is a medium, and that medium is the network. In Docker inspector, and let's check this particular database that's running. I wanna mainly check which network it is connected to. So when it comes to network, it's connected to what? It's connected to draw app network. This is the network that my database is connected to. So I will have to connect my process to that same network so that it can talk. So let's do that. So I have Docker run what I wanna run. First of all, let's check the images. Docker images. So I have these images. Let's run Docker run what I wanna run. I wanna run this particular application. So let's run this particular application. But even before running this app, this image that I have created, I will have to specify the port number. Like at this particular port, like at 3000 port, you have to run. This thing is done. What is the next step? Let's give it some name. The name of this process is going to be, suppose, test app. Docker test app. This is just the name. That doesn't matter. You can name it anything. So this is the name of that. What is the next step? I have I've done the port mapping. I've named it, and after that I have to connect it to a network. Okay, so the network is going to be draw app network. I think that was the one. Let's check this thing out. Draw app network. Yeah, the network name was draw app network. So draw app network. Let's check the name again one more time. I just want to be sure. That is draw app network. Yeah, so because they need to be connected to the same network. So I have set the network. So network is done, and if you are running a process, network connected, port done. Anything else? That is it. And there's one more thing. I have to give it separate environments because they are connected to the same network. So the first container needs to talk to the second container. So ultimately there should be right host I have to specify, and for that I will have a host database URL, and that database URL will contain the right host. So there's a database URL, and the URL is going to be postgresql/. The name is going to be username, ultimately postgres. The password is going to be 3241 if I'm not wrong, localhost is going to be Docker DB. What is the database? Network is connected to, I need to get the right name, otherwise I will get the error. That is right. So its name is draw app DB. Why am I using draw app DB? I will let you know. Draw app DB is the local host, is the host over here. And once this thing is done, it will be running on 5432 port. And I want to connect to the database, that is Docker testing DB. That is it. This should be enough. And I have to run it in the detached mode. So this way it's going to be running. Let's even check this much only. If I get any error, then I should be able to figure this thing out. Run it. Okay, it's running on 3000 port. Now we have to go to 3000 port. If we are getting the result, that means the process succeeded. Even I can check the process over here that's running. Docker PS. There are two processes running right now. The first one is the Postgres process, that ultimately database that we started. The second one is the test app that we just started right now. The thing is that we have to check. What do we have to check? We have to check the response, whether we are getting that or not. So let's go to localhost 3000 and let's close this. Let's start it again. Localhost 3000. If we get the data on this particular port, that means it's working, otherwise it's not working. Let's see. And guess what? We are getting an error. Oh, sorry, we are not getting any error. We are. Failed to fetch data from DB. Error this. Model user name driver adapter originated database Docker testing DB does not exist. It's saying that Docker testing DB does not exist. Okay, what was the name of our DB? Let's check the name. The name of the Docker testing. Sorry, that was my bad. How can I stop? I have started it now. Let's stop the process that was running. Okay, I have to change the name right now. That was my bad. I made the mistake. Docker PS. I have already stopped that, so I will be getting only one database running. Is that so? No, I'm getting two. So I will have to kill that. I will have to kill this process right now that's running. So Control C, Control, what the hell? Sorry, Docker kill. Let's copy this ID for killing the command, killing the process. And right now it's killed. Docker PS. There is only one process, that is the database process that's running right now. Now I have to restart it. So first of all, let's go to history. Just type history in your terminal. You will get all the commands that you ran earlier. So history, these are the commands that I ran, and I want to rerun this particular command again. So let's copy it, let's paste it here, and I will be changing the database URL like this one over here, and I will be running this thing in detached mode. Detached mode means it will run, but it will not show on the terminal. Let's run this thing again, but getting an error. The container already exists, so Docker PS for all Docker remove. But I have to remove this particular process that is stored, but that is causing the issue. Then I can rerun my command, and Docker testing. I hope it's gonna work. Let's run it again. It is started running. How can I check? I can check the logs of it because I ran it in detached mode. That means that is why it's not visible, but it is started running. I can check it going to process. So there are two processes are running. First one is the test app that we had. Second one is the Postgres app. That's good. What can we do? Docker logs. I wanna check the logs of this particular process that's running. So let's run it. So ultimately these are the logs that we have got. It's working well. How can I check whether it's working the right way? I can just reload the page. If it actually gives me the data, that means it's working well. User fetched successfully, and here I'm getting three users from the database. That means whatever we started, that's working well. And what is happening right now? There are two containers. Database is running in the first container. My app is running in the second container. And those containers, both of them are connected to the same network. Because of that only, they are able to talk to each other. And once they are able to talk to each other, my Node.js app is able to send the request to the database to get the data, and now it is able to show the data. It's as simple as that. And the thing is that once a process is running inside the container, that container is kind of a machine. That machine has its own IP address. This is amazing. Okay, there is a machine. If there is any machine, that machine has its own IP address. If I have a mobile, my mobile has its own IP address. And if you have a laptop, your laptop also has an IP address. And if both the machines are connected to the same network, connected to a network ultimately, if they are connected somehow via network, they can talk to each other. If you are able to watch this video, that means your device is connected to the network, my device is also connected to the network, and that is why they are able to talk to each other. Similarly, both the containers are connected to a network, that is why they are able to talk to each other. And if once they are able to talk to each other, my Node.js app is able to send the request to the backend, and backend is able to respond, send back the request, send back the response. It's like that. And the most important thing, when it comes to container is kind of a machine. That machine has its own IP address, just like your mobile, and that machine's name is the domain name for that IP address. Like, what are domain names? Domain names simply refer to a particular IP address. Like if I say google.com, so google.com, this name refers to the particular IP address that belongs to Google. Similarly, the name of my container, ultimately whatever name I gave while building the container, that name references to the IP address of the container. So name means, that is, the name is domain name, and that domain name references to the IP address of the container. So whenever I use that domain name, that means I am using the IP address of that particular container. And once I am using the IP address, that means if I use the IP address, that means I can send the request to that particular thing. If you are writing google.com on page, on a web, you go to Google, you write facebook.com. When you write facebook.com, that facebook.com gets converted into IP address of that Facebook company, because facebook.com is just a domain name. So whenever you make a request, that gets converted into IP address, and then IP address goes and you get the response back. Similarly, the name of our container is the domain name. This domain name references to the IP address of that particular container, and whenever we use that domain name, ultimately we are using the IP address, and once we are sending the request to that particular IP address, we are getting the response back. The same thing happens when you send a request to something in real world. The same thing happens between these two containers. They are connected via a network, that is why they are able to talk to each other. I hope I have explained well. Okay, by the way, this is the thing. So far what have we been doing? We have been just using the containers. It's time to use Docker Compose. What will Docker Compose do? I have two containers right now. I have a container for Postgres. I have a container for my Node.js app. Now I have to start them separately. First of all, I have to start the database. Then I have to start the Postgres app. What will Docker Compose do? Docker Compose will say, I will start everything. Don't worry, just specify the configuration. I will take care of starting the things. It's just like that. So let's do it. Let's stop everything right now. There were two processes running. If I talk about the processes, so there are two processes running. What am I going to do? I am going to stop both of them. So docker kill, just stop the first process, and this process is stopped, and docker kill stop the second process as well. Docker kill stop the second process. I have stopped both the processes right now. And if I just look at the process, there are no processes running. Docker ps, and for a, there are some stopped processes right now. I can just stop this one too. I can remove this one. So I will not remove database, but I will be removing the test app that I had, something like this. Let's remove that. And if I actually look at the docker ps for all, process status for all, right now there is only one process. What is the next step? The next step is really simple. Right now I don't want to start my front end, my database and my Docker file, my database and my Node.js app separately. I want to start them together. How will I start them? I will start them using Docker Compose. What is Docker Compose? Docker Compose is the feature that Docker provides you. You just have to write your commands, and then whenever you just write Docker Compose up, it will simply run out those commands and it will start everything from its own side. That means you don't need to worry about anything. Amazing. So let's do it. For this thing, we need to create a file called docker compose.ml. okay, this is the file that we have created. What will we do inside these files? Simple, yeah, it's pretty much easy peasy. First of all, you need to write services. Services means what service you wanna run. Once services is clear, then first of all, what do you wanna run? First of all, I want to run Postgres. This is the name of that particular service. Once the name is clear, after that you have to enter something that I don't know. Let's go to, either I can go to my notes or I can go to something called P5JS editor GitHub, because this particular GitHub account has is using the same thing, is using this Docker Compose for development. So we can take the reference from here and then we can simply go ahead. So first of all, we use services. After that, what is the next step? After that, we have to provide the image. Which image am I going to use? So let's specify the image as well. So I am using services, many services I am going to use, and when it comes to those services, so the first service is Postgres. What is the image for this service? Because of course, if I wanna run Postgres, as I'm using Docker, so I need the image. So image is gonna be Postgres itself. This thing is done. What is the port for this? Okay, again, I need the ports. What are the ports? Ports are gonna be 5432, 5432. These are the ports. What is there anything else that I need? I have image, I have ports, I don't need any volume and all. These two things are done. One more thing, when it comes to Postgres, I need to provide it the environment variable. So environment variable I have to provide, and that environment variable is going to be database URL that I have to provide from my own side, because Postgres needs it. And the database URL is going to be Postgres /. Okay, this is gonna be Postgres, password is gonna be 3241, and what @ good thing, good question to think about here. What is gonna be the local host? The host is going to be I'm still yet to think about it. What is going to be the host over here? Host is going to be the what? When I start it, first of all, it will start Postgres. When it starts Postgres, and then it will start the remaining things. I have to even check this thing out properly. Let's go to my node. This time I have to visit. Okay, I have to just provide the password and I have to just provide the ports. Okay, never mind. I can provide the Postgres user, Postgres password, Postgres DB. Sorry, my bad. Let's I'm running Postgres service. I'm providing the image. That's okay. I'm providing the ports, and I have to provide the password for my Postgres. So this is going to be, let's keep it this side. Sorry, not this one. Okay, like this. Okay, so what I was saying, that I have to provide the environment variables. So let's provide the environment variables. And what all I have to provide in environment variables. The first thing is that Postgres password. That is the most important thing that you have to provide anyhow, because you need to connect. For connecting, you need the password, right? So the first thing is that a Postgres password that you have to provide. Postgres password is gonna be 3241 in our side. So this is gonna be this. Second thing is that you have to provide, it's optional. The first thing is the most important thing. You have to provide the password anyhow. Everything else will be automatically created, so you don't need to worry about that. Or you can provide other things as well. So second thing is that Postgres username you can provide, and the username is going to be, suppose, Postgres for now. And the third thing that you can provide the host name or something. Just a minute, let me have a look at that. Okay, so DB name you can provide, but why are we even providing it? These two things are optional. Postgres DB. Why these things are optional, I will let you know. But first of all, DB name is going to be what? Draw app or something. Is this the name? Is this the app that's running right now? The DB name is Docker testing. Docker testing. The thing is that these two things are optional. This one is optional and this one is optional. Why is this optional? The thing is that everyone knows that if you are running something called Postgres, that is the image, the username is always going to be Postgres. And when it comes to the database, when you provide a URL to connect to the database, it will automatically contain the URL. So it will automatically contain the name of the database. So it's okay, even if you provide that or not, that doesn't matter. So this much is done. What is the next step? I wanna run another command. I wanna run another process, and that process is, suppose I wanna run my app. First of all, I started my DB database. Then what service do I wanna have? I wanna run my app. Okay, when I wanna run my app, so what I want to do first? When I want to run my app, first of all, I want to build my app. My app should be built before running. Okay, so let's build the app. When I'm building the app, what all do I need? First of all, I need to specify that you have to build these particular files. Okay, what is the context going to be? Context going to be the current directory, ultimately root directory. Like whatever there is in the root directory, just build everything. As simple as that. What is the next step? How will it build the file that you have? Ultimately, how will it build your app? For that thing, I have my Docker file here. This is the Docker file. Take the reference from here. Use these commands to build my Docker file. So I said, okay, that's great. Let's build the Docker file using Docker. Build the app using Docker file. So it's gonna be Docker file here. This is also done. What is the next step? Right now the build is done. Okay. Once the build is done, the next thing gonna be environment. Ultimately, I need to provide the database URL, because when it's building, it needs to migrate. When it needs to migrate, it needs your database. Okay. For that thing, you need to have database URL. And once you have database URL, what will be the database URL? Simple. It's gonna be PostgreSQL / localhost, not localhost. Its username is gonna be Postgres. Password is gonna be 3241 for now. Host is gonna be the name of the Docker, name of the database. Why? Because the database, both of them are going to be connected to the same network. Yeah. What I'm saying that ultimately Docker Compose will connect them to the same network. So we don't have to worry about their connection. Are they connected to the same network or not? This will be handled by Docker Compose. Okay, they are connected, and when they are connected, the Docker name, database name, will be referencing to the IP address of that particular database container's IP address, and then that is why if we use this Docker testing name over here, we will be able to connect it to that database, as simple as that, or send requests. So Docker testing is the database name. Ultimately, this is the local host right now. This is not local host, this is host. And then 5432, this is the port. And ultimately, what I want to connect to, I want to connect to Docker testing. This is the thing that we have right now. Once environment is clear, then I will be defining the ports. Like, okay, I have built it, great. You even have the database URL, great. What are the ports that it will be running to? So the ports are going to be 3000. You already know 3000 by 3000. These are the ports that it's gonna be running to. But the most important thing, that build it. Okay, environment variable is set, port number is set, but it depends on what? It depends on Postgres. This is the name of the database. What means that? This means that run this particular build or run the app only when this Postgres is ready. What is Postgres? Postgres is the database. It simply means that once my Postgres is running, okay, only then start building my project. Otherwise, don't do that. As simple as that. Start building. After building, you will run that, of course. So first of all, get the database ready. Once the database is ready, start building my project. This is how you can go ahead. Let's start running that. One more problem we will face, and we will figure it out on the go. And the problem is, let me tell you directly, the problem is in the Docker file. The problem is this. Once I run Docker Compose up, at that time this command will run. That is right, this command will run. When I run my Docker Compose file, at that time no database is running. Ultimately, Docker Compose up will start my database, right? That means there is no local host, because there is no database running. When there is no local host, where will it connect to? And if it is not able to connect, how will it migrate and how will it generate the things? That is the problem. What is the solution to this problem? The solution is simple, that first of all, let the Postgres be ready. Okay, once the Postgres is ready, then start migrating the things. But the thing is that this Docker file may run. It mostly happens that this Docker file, ultimately when the migration is being done, at that time there is no Docker connected. I mean, there is no database running, and then we will face the error. So what is the solution? The solution is pretty simple, that we inside this Docker compose file, inside app, I am building the things. I will only build, again repeating, I will only build when Postgres is running. How about keeping the generate and migrate things inside the build script, so that if that is inside build script, that is only run when Postgres is ready, ultimately database is ready. That means we will not face the errors. So let's get this thing done too. Ultimately, I will have to remove these two things from here. Why am I removing even these three things? Why am I removing them? It's pretty simple. When they are running, no database is running. So where will they even migrate? So for that thing, let me go to my package.json. Over here, I am building it. I am starting it. Before that, I have to pnpm, and what do I have to do? I have to migrate it first of all. So pnpm prisma migrate dev and pnpm prisma generate. Why am I doing this? And migrate something like this. First of all, let's migrate this. Once this is migrated, generate this. Once this is generated, build this. And once this is built, start this. And let's name it dev docker. It could be anything, but it's better to name it like this. So ultimately, it is the dev script that will be actually running the docker too, that is connected to the docker. And let me come back to this docker file. And once I'm running, I will be running dev docker. What will happen? First of all, Postgres will start. Once the Postgres is started, then I will start building. And when I start building, while this happens, nothing will happen. And at the end of the day, ultimately what happens is that this we are getting all these things done, and at the end we are running this dev docker. This dev docker command will only run when my Postgres is ready. And when the Postgres is ready, we already have the database running. That means I will be able to migrate the schema to the database. Let's see whether it works or not. Docker compose up. Simple. Just one command. I wrote docker compose up. Will it be able to handle the things or not? That's what we have to just see right now. In event, let's check this thing right now. Then what I'll do, I'll delete the volumes. I'll delete the image that we created, and then it will start handling the things on its own. Let's check this thing out first of all. Even I've spoken a lot. I think I have a sore throat right now, but it's worth speaking, because once you have explained these things, you know the depth of that particular topic, and that's what I'm focusing on. So let's do it. It will not take lots of time. I hope it's not gonna take that. Okay, and after that we will be just deleting everything and we'll be restarting the things. Okay, first of all, let it go on, and I hope it will be ready and it will work as expected. Okay. It's simply saying that it's running, if I'm not wrong. And if it is running, please make sure database server is running at Docker. Okay, done. Can't reach database at this. Okay. It is unable to reach the database. Why? I think there was a database that was already running. Docker PS. Oh, sorry. Docker PS. Yeah, there is a database that is already running. I have to stop the database. So Docker kill. Let's stop this database so that Docker compose is able to start the database on its own. So I have stopped the database. Once I have stopped the database, I will be running Docker compose up again, and I hope this time it will be able to handle everything from its own side. Let's see what happens. It can't reach the database. Testing 5432. The thing is that I'll have to come back and then work on this thing again. There are two ways. Localhost 5432 docker. Okay, it is unable to reach the database. That is the thing that we have to still figure out the reason behind. and I will only be able to do it when I get the work done that I have right now. So let's do one thing, let's call it right now. There is only last thing, use running the database, running Docker using Docker Composer. Okay, I will be getting it done just within after 20 minutes. Before that I have to go somewhere and get some work done, then I'll be coming back. Until then, take care, and I'm gonna be catching up soon.